a graduate of Newcastle University, representing any organization from the Northeast,
Yeah.
and most importantly, give us a cheer if you are one of our nominees this evening. I should also add, for those of you who are here in Newcastle this evening, that we have received nominations for students on our campuses in Malaysia and Singapore, and we are delighted that some of these students have been shortlisted this evening as well.
And I'm now delighted to be able to introduce our Vice-Chancellor and President of Newcastle University, Professor Chris Day, to say a few words of welcome to you all.
Thank you, Jane and Harris, and a very good evening to everyone. What a pleasure it is to welcome you all in person to these Newcastle University Awards. Absolutely delighted to be back here face-to-face in the Civic Centre after an absence of 2 years. Of course, we all know the reasons why there's been that absence, and I'm not going to dwell on the challenges we've all faced, because each and every one of you will have experienced the past 2 years in a different way. As I look around this magnificent room at all of our students gathered here to recognise and celebrate some truly wonderful achievements, I just want to say a huge thank you. Thank you for your resilience. Thank you for your determination to carry on. And more than that, to succeed in the face of adversity. Thank you for your selflessness that you've shown in supporting each other. Thank you for your generosity in giving so much back to your university community when you could just as easily not have bothered. Thank you for embodying the vision and values we as a university hold so close to our heart. And thank you for making a difference here in our city and region, nationally, and as you'll see later, indeed around the world. You are a true inspiration to me, to your fellow students, and to all of my university colleagues and our supporters who are here to help you celebrate your success this evening. So once again, can I ask all of you to give yourselves a really big round of applause. As ever, the quality of entries for the awards this year was extremely high, and I also would like to thank the team of judges who had the unenviable task of whittling down over 1,000 nominations to a shortlist of 43, and then picking the eventual winners. You'll be hearing more about the amazing projects that we're here to celebrate later on this evening after dinner, but for anyone who wonders about the value of extracurricular activities, I can speak from personal experience about the differences they made to me when I was a student. Whether that was the numerous friends and memories I made through my sporting activities, not to mention getting to play at the hallowed Wembley Stadium, or running the university disco, imaginatively named Pleasure Machine, or volunteer work in the local hospice as a medical student, which taught me so much about the importance of compassion when caring for patients and their families in their final days and hours. As a university, we have a set of values that guide us and inspire us to be the best in all that we can do. I'm delighted to say that 2 of our core values, equality, diversity and inclusion, and social and environmental justice, are well represented in the finalists you will hear about tonight. Of course, this is to be expected from a university recently ranked number 1 in the UK and 8th in the world for its work towards achieving the UN's Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs for short. We also have 3 aspirational values of excellence, creativity and impact. These values speak for themselves. We strive for excellence in all that we do and to lead the way towards finding solutions to global problems. We're constantly looking for creative and innovative ways to use and apply the knowledge we gain from our world-leading research to impact positively on the societies that we serve. And we know that to have real impact, we need to work together, whether that's with businesses and industry, local and national policymakers, the cultural and voluntary sectors, or community groups. This is what we mean when we say we are from Newcastle, but we are for the world. So again, when I look around this room, I'm so proud of all of our finalists. Every single one of you has demonstrated excellence, creativity, and perhaps most importantly, impact. Because at the end of the day, it's not about the awards. It's about the fact that through the actions that have led you here this evening, your contributions have made a real difference to society. You've made a difference to your fellow students, and you've made a difference to the community. And in some cases, this has been over several years. Individually and collectively, you've all made a difference to the world we live in. Put simply, in one way or another, you've made people's lives better. And given the challenges we've all faced in the last couple of years, for me, that's more important and even more admirable than ever before. Whatever the outcomes of this evening, to me, you are all winners. So once again, on behalf of my colleagues, your tutors, our partners, congratulations and very well done. And now, on with the celebrations.
Thank you very much, Chris. We really appreciate you speaking. So now, dinner is about to be served, but quickly, just a few housekeeping points. The cloakrooms and toilets are out through the doors you came in, over in the corner, and then downstairs. If you need to book a taxi, please ask it to come to the Civic Centre, ceremonial way entrance, and then to be on the safe side, not before 10:30 p.m., please. In case of a fire alarm, exits are here and here. And please meet at the emergency point outside from the Civic Centre. Have a wonderful meal and see you again at 8:30, ready to begin for the awards.
Diamonds leave with you. You're never gonna hear my heart break. Never gonna move the dark ways. Baby, you're so cruel. My diamonds leave with you. Material never fool me. When you're not here, I can't breathe. Think I always knew. My diamonds leave with you. Ooh, oh, oh, ooh, oh, always knew. My diamonds leave with you. You're never gonna hear my heart break. Never gonna move in dark ways. Baby, you're so cruel. My diamonds leave with you. Material love won't fool me. When you're not here, I can't breathe. Think I always do. My diamonds leave with you. You're never gonna hear my heart break. Never gonna move in dark ways. Baby, you're so cruel. My diamonds leave with you. Material never fool me. When you're not here, I can't breathe. Think I always knew. My diamonds leave with you. Ooh, oh, ooh, oh, always knew. My diamonds leave with you. Ooh, oh, ooh, oh, always knew. My diamonds leave with you. Oh my God, these feelings just begun. I'm saying things I've never said, doing things I've never done. Oh my God, when I see you I should it right. But I'm frozen in motion and my head tells me to stop. Feeling I feel about us. Try to fight it, but it's never enough. My heart is hurting, it's more than a crush. Cause I'm frozen in motion and my head tells me to stop. But my heart goes. Cause my heart goes. Oh my God, can't believe what I've become. I'm frozen in motion, and my head tells me to stop. Tells me to stop feeling feelings I feel about us. Try to fight it, but it's never enough. My heart is hurting, it's more than a crush. Cause I'm frozen in motion, and my head tells me to stop. But my heart goes bum, 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 cause my heart goes bum, 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 but my heart goes.
Ladies and gentlemen, can you take your seats, please?
Welcome back. We hope you enjoyed your meal. Before we move on to the awards, let us put our hands together and thank all of the staff at the Civic Centre who have looked after us this evening.
It was a delicious meal. I really enjoyed that. But before we present the awards, it is now my absolute pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker for this evening, Ben Mercer. Ben is a former professional rugby player, now writer and digital creator. He graduated from Newcastle in 2009 with a BA English Literature. Ben played for Newcastle University First 15 as a fresher and later captained the team. He combined university life with rugby for the Falcons Academy and Blaydon RFC, earning a professional contract with Plymouth Albion after his studies. Ben's rugby career took him to Australia, the UK, and finally France, where he helped run gain promotion in his time as vice-captain. Exchanging his boots for a pen, he's written a book entitled Fringes, Life on the Edge of Professional Rugby, which depicts the life of a professional sportsperson away from the elite competition. And he now writes and manages various digital products. Please welcome to the stage your speaker, Ben Mercer.
Well, thank you for that very comprehensive introduction. Never fear, I've not written a third book. This is actually larger print, so I can see, so don't worry, I won't keep you too long. Thank you for having me here with you tonight. I was actually invited to give this speech about 2 years ago after the publication of my first book, Fringes. For obvious reasons, I couldn't make it, but I'm not only very grateful to get to be here tonight, I've actually got a lot more to talk about. It's a real honour and a pleasure to be invited to speak to you all at my old university. I didn't have to put up with anything like the events of the past couple of years while I was studying, so I feel like you'll all be more aware than I was of how life doesn't necessarily progress in a straight line than when I graduated. For a broad idea of how I ended up here speaking to you, you've already kind of heard it, to be fair. I studied English literature here, I became a professional rugby player, I spent 2 years at Plymouth Albion, then a year playing in Sydney. I returned to the UK, played for Cornish Pirates, before going to France to play for Stade Rennais for 4 years. After that, I retired, became a writer, worked at a startup, and now I have a book-related TikTok account. When you leave here and stop hanging around with other students quite so much, you're probably going to start getting asked, so what do you do? It's a pretty confrontational question in some ways. And when I became a professional rugby player, I had a pretty easy answer. Nevertheless, I never felt like that was all that I was. I suppose the first thing I'm going to ask you is, how do you want to answer that question? When people ask me now, I don't really know my answer. Since graduating, I've been a rugby player, a barista, a rugby coach, a project manager, a freelance writer, an author, head of content, a narrator, and more recently, a TikToker. When I was 13, my mum sat down in front of my English teacher at school parents' evening. He'd been there 40 years, so he'd seen loads of kids. And he looked at her and he said, "You poor woman. What on earth is this kid going to do?" I don't know how either of them would have reacted if you told them TikToker, but here we are. Anyway, like I said, I still don't really know the answer, but what I do know is that to arrive here, stood in front of you, all I've ever really done is follow my interests. Growing up in Bath, all I really wanted to do was play sports and read books. Swimming and rugby were what I was best at, but swimming was very boring, while rugby felt dangerous, both on the field and socially, which I found exciting. I was selected for the Bath Academy, and when I left school, I spent a year training with the professional team while applying to university, and I knew I wanted to be a professional player. After reading enough books, I also developed the goal of writing one of my own one day. My form tutor asked me what I was going to spend my summer doing after my A-levels, and I replied, reading books and lifting weights. She laughed and told me I had a split personality. Anyway, I ended up coming here. I'd visited Newcastle a couple of times, and I was offered a place here soon after applying, and I felt valued, even though I hadn't arrived yet. English was a course that gave me options, but it was also my actual passion. I felt that coming to Newcastle would enable me to pursue both of my passions and set myself up to become a pro player after graduation with my English degree in my back pocket in case I needed it. My 3 years here were mostly a pleasure. I did my course, I played all the rugby I could, and I availed myself of all the various nightlife opportunities around the city, which I'm sure you're all very aware of. I remember being a callow fresher, going in rounds for trebles, but by the time I was a hard-bitten third year, you'd order 3 drinks for yourself, down 1, and keep the other 2 in hand to avoid going back to the bar. It was great times. When I was considering how university enabled me to do what I do now, I wasn't really sure that it had. I didn't do anything different at university to what I'd been doing before. My interests hadn't really changed. And then I realized university had enabled me to focus on them. For the first time, I was able to not do the other subjects, to choose within a few parameters the books I wanted to read, study, and learn more about. For the first time, I was able to say to everyone else, but more importantly to myself, this is what I care about. So I pose that question to all of you. What do you care about? I had some great times actually doing my course. I was blessed to have phenomenal teachers at school, but there were lecturers here who also inspired me. There was James Annesley, Silver Fox, who took an irreverent but respectful approach to 20th century American literature. There was Neelam Shrivastava, whose global city and post-colonial literature and film proved to be my favorite module. If books let you travel the world, this module let you do so to some unexpected places. And speaking of adventure, there was Herman Moisel, who taught Arthurian legend, one of the stories that made me fall in love with reading as a boy. Herman's personal story was just as interesting, and I'll remember his account of the nuclear shelters of Cold War America for the rest of my life. By coming to Newcastle, I knew I was coming to a well-regarded and forward-thinking English department. I knew that I could play university rugby and academy rugby at the Falcons, who had England players in my position to learn from. I didn't yet know how much I'd learned from playing with the local guys at Blaydon Rugby Club. Sport was such a great teacher for me, but while you learn on the field, you learn so much about other people from your teammates and your coaches. Most importantly, I learned that how I played, and perhaps more crucially, how I behaved, would endear me to others rather than who I was and where I was from. Here at Newcastle Uni, I played with a Lions-style side of Englishmen, Irishmen, and Scotsmen. We had no Welshmen. At Blaydon, I played with nightclub bouncers and trainee doctors, with former pro rugby players and panel beaters, with guys who travelled the world and others who will never leave Newcastle. Then when I played in France, it's hard to know where to start. We were United Nations of rugby mercenaries, ranging from one guy who fought for Georgia and another who played in a Rugby World Cup against New Zealand. All of these people gave me something, even if it was some idea of what not to do. I challenge all of you to find somewhere where you're not normal. Later, when I was in France, I knew that I was pitching myself into a situation to learn French. Otherwise, I'd have had quite a lonely time to begin with. Once I'd been there for 4 years and felt that I'd stopped learning, I got frustrated. Even that taught me something, that learning is important to me. So I'll ask you another question. Where can you learn the most? The answer might be finding the right lecturer, a new job, moving to a new country, or starting a business. But whatever it is, if you can find your next great teacher, then that will move you onwards, perhaps more than anything else can. Everything good that's happened to me has happened because I took risks, DVDs of me playing rugby. I thought people would just notice if I was good. Unfortunately, if there's something you want to do, you should probably tell someone. Show them what you know or what you can do and how passionate you are. Show them that you're prepared to take a risk to get there. I never got that opportunity at the very top level of the game that I wanted. Perhaps I wasn't good enough. But maybe I just didn't let anyone know how much I wanted it. My first book, Fringes, was a show your work moment. It was me saying everything I thought and felt about professional rugby at that time. It was self-published, so I did everything from writing the thing to finding editors and cover designers, choosing everything and releasing it on a schedule of my own choosing. After a career spent waiting to get picked, I wanted to pick myself. Even if the book was bad, I could still point to it and say, see what I did. Now, this is quite hard. In sport, you get used to being criticized, often in some pretty harsh terms. But it felt harder to expose myself to judgment in the pages of a book. I hesitated for a long time, tinkering with small changes and prevaricating over minor issues. Eventually, I used Christmas 2019 as a deadline, and I published it in that month. Let me read you a snippet of the top review from Amazon. This story could be great, but Fringes shows just how difficult it is to self-publish and produce something perfect by yourself. Ben has an interesting story to tell. Unfortunately, he's produced a book that reads like a first draft. They gave me 2 stars out of 5, so, not 1. It's not too complimentary, and some of it is fair. But the book went on to become a bestseller and was nominated for Sports Book of the Year in 2020. I'm not going to lie, that criticism does still sting a little bit. But what I learned is that it's okay to not be perfect. It's okay for everyone not to like you or your work. This review turns off the people who'd be bothered by these things, the people who want perfection from a £10 book. And it tells those other people that, hey, this isn't perfect, but it's got something to say anyway. Getting over the idea that my work should be perfect changed my life. I realized that imperfection isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's evidence that you're a human being. So I'd ask you, how will you take a risk? Where can you share your work? So now to TikTok. I never liked the self-aggrandizement of social media. I thought it was gauche and silly. I still think that a little bit, but I think I was also scared of being judged. Anyway, I knew I wanted to leave my startup job and do more authoring, and I knew that having a social media presence was important, particularly as an independent author. The other thing was that I'd written 2 books, Fringes and Our Race, that were both about sport. But the books I like to read are mostly not about sport. They're novels or non-fiction, the sorts of books I got to study here and even more broad. So I started a TikTok where I'd read snippets from books I recommended. Because it was TikTok, none of my friends were on it, and I only had to admit to it once it started going better than I expected. Life can box you in. When I played rugby, it was hard for that not to become my thing, how I was regarded. So I'd like to leave you with a couple of quotes. The physicist Richard Feynman said, "You're under no obligation to remain the same person you were a year ago, a month ago, or even a day ago. You're here to create yourself constantly. So since leaving rugby, I've been creating who I am anew, and this year has been one of firsts. The first freelance audiobooks, the first sponsored content, the first paid book workshops, the first big public speaking arrangements, the first time getting recognised in the street, which was weird. I would not have predicted much of this even last year. Who knows where I'll be next year? Who knows where you'll be next year, or in 5? Ralph Waldo Emerson said that to be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to change you is the greatest accomplishment. When I thought about why I like what I'm doing now, I remembered that as a kid, I used to love reading out loud. So while the world wants to figure you out and put you in an easily understandable place, perhaps we need to combine Emerson and Feynman's advice and strive to recreate yourself continuously, to resist what others think you should be, remember who you always wanted to be, and create where you want to go. If you're prepared to stand up and be yourself, no matter your imperfections, if you show the world what you care about and you try your best, not only is that a great accomplishment in itself, it may just lead you to a life that you're happy to lead. And if there's the slightest chance of that happening, then it's probably worth taking a risk or two. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben, for speaking this evening and for your openness, honesty, and inspiration. That was fantastic. Thank you also for, I think, setting up so beautifully for the awards that we're now going to move on to. So, the awards. Obviously, you, as our invited guests, have a key role to play. We are expecting applause and even cheering for all our award winners. And it is important that everyone is applauded to the full, even those who are receiving awards later on in the evening. So a little bit of practicing. First of all, can I ask you to give a round of applause and a cheer if you have attended these awards before, either in person or virtually, in the last 2 years? Come on, a bit more, come on. Thank you. Now, are there any newbies in the room? Can you give us a round of applause and a cheer if you're attending these awards for the first time? I have to say, the newbies have it rather than the old lags. Okay, so whether this is your first time or you have been to many of these awards before, you are all very welcome and we hope you have a brilliant time. Harris, I think we are ready.
Tonight, we will be presenting 13 Pride of Newcastle Awards, and our winners will receive a certificate and a trophy. Our student winners will also receive a prize of £250. Yes. We also have 3 alumni awards to present. We decided that our alumni probably didn't need the cash, so they will receive certificates and a gift from the university.
I'm sure that will be just as valuable. And whilst winning an award tonight, they're really nice. Whilst winning an award tonight is a great achievement, just being nominated is an incredible recognition of your contribution to our university and the wider community. So I just want to say that every student nominated here tonight has already won an award at one of the recent Celebrating Success award evenings.
Across all these categories, we have received more than 998 nominations and have been whittled down to 43 finalists that we have invited here this evening. So before we do anything else, please can we ask all of our students who have been shortlisted for any of our awards tonight to stand up so that we can thank and congratulate each of you for what you have contributed this year. It is students like you that make us proud to be the part of Newcastle University. So please stand up.
Come on. Okay, so the last thing we need to do before we get to the awards is to go through some of the short logistics for the evening. Promise to keep this short and sweet, but please do listen carefully. Those presenting awards this evening will be invited to join the stage, so over on the side that Harris is standing on. For each award, we considered a wide range of nominees, and tonight we'll be announcing just the runner-up and winner of each category. If we call your name, please come up to the stage where you will receive your prizes and be invited to say a few words.
When thinking about a few words, please remember that everybody has booked taxis for 10:30, and you are not at the Oscars. Everybody enjoys a speech which is short and sweet. Speaking of Oscars, let's make sure there are no Will Smith episodes, please, either. Once you've collected your award, we will take you backstage to have your photo taken, so be ready with the best smiles. So let's waste no time and begin. The first award we are making tonight is for outstanding contribution to arts, media, and culture. Please welcome onto the stage our student media officer, George Boatfield.
Thank you, Harris and Jane, for the introduction tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure to work with our student media community in my time as student media officer this year. Like many of these events throughout the past term, it would be wrong of me not to start by thanking NUTV for live streaming this event, as they have done for all of the Celebrating Success Awards before this. And in attendance tonight is Sophie as well, who has just been elected station manager for NUTV as well, so special congratulations to her, and also to James, who is NSR station manager next year. This award recognises students who have used their skills and experience to contribute to art, media, and culture on campus. It could be through organising events, exhibitions, journalism, or working with groups within the university or local community. Whether the medium was film, writing, radio, music, photography, fine art, print journalism, digital or street performance, this award is for students who have used their talents in a positive way, making for a very competitive category. As the student media officer, I hosted the media awards last month, and many of the people shortlisted for this award saw great success that night, as did so many of our incredible volunteers. So once more, just an incredible shout out and thank you to everyone who has got involved in student media over the past year. The shortlist for this award is the largest of all of the categories tonight, and I see that as a great sign that student media has come back very, very strong after COVID. And a sign that our output has been some of the best it's ever been. And just, again, a big thank you to the team for making sure that that is the case. Tonight's nominations are Elliot Kilby, Feminist Society, Harris Qureshi, Hannah Ross, Hattie Metcalf, Kaylee Fraser, and the Courier's film section. It was a joy to read the nominations that the runner-up for this award received about their work in student media. Throughout the academic year, they have consistently put out great work, both online and in print, while amassing strong connections within the writer and industry communities. They're not afraid of trying new things, meaning that their work has stood out in terms of creativity, And throughout the paper, it's consistently shown the best of student media. And the runner-up is the film section of the Courier.
Am I going? Yeah, I guess I am. We didn't prepare anything because everyone else who was nominated is so talented, and it's just an honor to be doing student media. And it's been great. Thank you.
They're a lot more chatty in the office, I assure you. Okay, so the winner of this award has shown to be very, very popular by receiving 5 strong nominations, again, which were a joy to read for the Media Awards. They have sustained several roles over the years, providing a long service for the student media team, with specific mentions to being well-motivated, dedicated, industrious, and a top performer. And additionally, someone who genuinely strives to make sure that everyone feels comfortable and at home within the student media community, and has been such a great asset to the team that I have been working with this year. One nomination stated that they have made it a personal mission to ensure that the Courier office is a warm and inclusive environment that anyone and everyone can feel welcome in. They are always willing to listen to everyone. Most people can mention at least one time in which they have helped them with either emotional support, in design issues, or writing a fantastic article. I can unequivocally say that without them, that the Courier would be a significantly less happy place. And I agree with every single word of that, and it's a pleasure to know this person. Our first winner of the evening is Hattie Metcalf.
Hello. I did not expect this at all. I won't keep you very long. I just want to say thank you to George Boatfield, thank you to George Bell, thank you to Maud, my work wife. This would not have happened without you at all. And I'd like to dedicate this award to my gran, who cannot be here with us tonight, but I love her to bits. Thank you so much, everyone.
Okay, so the second award this evening is the award for outstanding contribution to the community, and this will be presented by Abby Hutchison, President of the Students' Union. Abby.
Good evening, everyone. This award recognises students for the contribution they make not only on campus, but also in creating change in the community. And for that reason, I think this is a really beautiful award, and I'm very honoured that I get to present it. Whether the local community groups or voluntary organisations, this award recognises those students who look beyond the university for ways to support others. And I have no idea how you managed to do that on top of getting your degrees, so it's just outstanding to me. Our nominees this evening are Nest, Newcastle University First Responders, It Happens Here, and New Med Dermatology Society. It's very hard to create suspense when reading out the results of a community award because it gives it away straight away, as they're also unique in their contribution. But the runners-up this evening are a team of 32 medical students who volunteer with the ambulance service by responding to emergency calls around Newcastle and Gateshead. A pair of volunteers drive around the city in the electric vehicle, it's a very nice electric vehicle, they call the Milk Float, on 8-hour shifts, being dispatched to appropriate 999 calls to be the first on scene to deliver medical assistance in an emergency, which is just incredible. These volunteers support the North East Ambulance Service dealing with serious calls including cardiac arrests, seizures, chest pain and unconscious patients. This helps members of the local community get help faster, which has saved many lives. I can't believe you're doing that on top of your degree. It is also a voluntary service, so everybody has given up their time to volunteer to make a difference alongside their already intense degrees, there it is, whoever wrote the script, and busy timetables. And this shows how selfless and giving everyone on the service is. So it is with pleasure that I announce the runners-up and Newcastle University first responders.
Thank you very much for this. We're very honoured to receive this. And really, I think obviously it has to go to the students that staff the service, who I think particularly notably in the pandemic era that we live in, I think as we look back, as time goes on, beyond the pandemic, we'll look back and think that students responding to 999 calls, going into people's homes, into strange environments at the peak of the pandemic, even pre-vaccination programs, for instance, and working and providing medical care to patients who obviously had coronavirus and stuff, as an act of extreme bravery, I think, as much as the volunteering efforts of it. So I think the students should be applauded for that. It's an amazing effort on their part. And massive thank you to the support that we get from the Students' Union as well, which is amazing, from Katie and Becky and Phil and others, and as well from the medical school, Professor Jones, Dr. David Kennedy, and of course our own Vice Chancellor as well, Professor Day, who's been wonderfully supportive from the beginning. Thanks very much. Really appreciate it.
Okay, the winner of this award goes to an amazing group of individuals. There's the suspense I was looking for. Who try their hardest to help those from disadvantaged areas of the world improve their most vital skill, communication. The project has managed to come out of the other end of a pandemic and switch swiftly back to in-person sessions, delivering multiple activities 7 days a week, from one-to-one English lessons, rowing, to a circus, residential trips, a homework club, schools projects, and more. One nomination read, "Everyone there is extremely hardworking, and I'm proud to work alongside them!" Exclamation mark. They've helped individuals from all age ranges, ethnicities, and backgrounds. Helping the disadvantaged is obviously essential to their mission, and they've done it excellently. Students have made leaps and bounds in their English speaking, listening, reading, and writing. A part of the project have made a massive impact on the lives of refugees and asylum seekers in the area. And I have to say, when they won an award at the Community Impact Awards a few weeks ago, I had a parent who's adopted a child who was an asylum seeker, and she said that they've literally changed their lives as a family now. And so it's with incredible pride that I want to say tonight's winners for outstanding contribution to the community is Nest.
So although we're volunteers, don't be fooled, we don't actually run the show. The people who run the show, Hibber, Bridget, Angie, so they don't like to take the credit. They always stay quiet, stay low, but I think we all have a round of applause for them because they do amazing work all day. They sacrifice so much time for this project so we can volunteer a few hours of our week, basically. So thank you again, but thank you guys especially.
The third award this evening is the Award for Outstanding Contribution to Diversity and Cultural Awareness. To present this award, please welcome our Welfare and Equality Officer at NUSU, Brianna Gordon.
Hi everyone. Wow. Well, we're only 2 awards in and I'm absolutely blown away by all of the incredible students thus far. So this award recognizes students who have actively helped to include people, whether in the university or in the wider community, who may have otherwise felt isolated. So the nominees are Bollywood Dance Society, Gemma Willens, Malaysian Society, and EDI reps from the School of Biomedical, Nutrition and Sport Sciences. So the runners-up this evening are a group who have gone above and beyond to showcase outstanding contribution to diversity and cultural awareness. They organized a cultural night collaborating with 3 different societies, wow, across 2 universities, not 1 but 2. The evening included a cultural performance aiming to showcase the beauty and complexity of their culture. And both local and international students traveled to Newcastle to watch this. That was really amazing. This event has been their most impactful yet, allowing members to step out of their comfort zones and grow as individuals. The purpose of the event was not only to solely promote their culture, but to widen the members' social circle by facilitating the opportunity to meet and interact with people across the Northeast. The aim was to provide members with a sense of home while studying abroad, and being from another country myself, I can't tell you enough how impactful and just so important this is. And we believe that this event has achieved this goal by providing valuable and memorable experience with a lot of new friends made along the way. So the runner-up is the Malaysian Society.
I just want to use this opportunity to thank all of you guys for letting us come here tonight. It's a great pleasure, and I'm also very proud to be able to express and showcase our culture from Malaysia. And yeah, just thank you.
So, the winner of this award proves that one person can really make such a big change to the society. This individual, and I'm going to be giving it away again, volunteers with the Northeast Solidarity in Teaching, NEST, which is a project that aims to empower the refugee and asylum-seeking community in the region. The individual leads on 2 projects, football and a rowing club. They work extremely hard and have invested in this project whilst completing their final stage of their degree, which seems to be a trend here. We've got a lot of people investing so much time whilst doing their degrees as well. And this has been difficult, but it's not shied them away from that. And yeah, they don't want to let any of the young men and women down. So
This individual has shown extreme commitment by being selfless and volunteering time for asylum seekers. The winner of the award for outstanding contribution to diversity and cultural awareness is Gemma Willens. Turns out Gemma is not here, but if we could give another big, really lovely round of applause.
So the next award this evening is for outstanding contribution to lifelong learning, health and well-being. Please can I welcome George Watkins, Director of Membership at the Students' Union, to present this award.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Jane, and thank you, everyone. It's not often I get a round of applause at work, so that was lovely. Speaking of lovely, it's also, I'm just going to say it's my first time at the Pride for 10 years, and how amazing it is to be here in the Civic Centre, and everyone who's put the effort into organising this. It's just fantastic. So I'm here tonight to present the award for outstanding contribution to lifelong health and well-being. Now, this award is made to groups or individuals who have actively promoted lifelong well-being on the university campus and beyond as well. So, the shortlist for this award is Brush Up, the second one is It Happens Here, Sexpression Newcastle, and finally, Sunny Sidera. Okay. So now I'm going to announce the runner-up. So the runner-up for this award is a group who set up a new project working on issues not only in our city, but also nationally. The group were approached by a local school where the pupils were asked for a group of people closer to their age to really speak about the recent spiking epidemic. It is something the group clearly felt was they were very passionate about, with over 20 members signing up to volunteer. They worked hard to plan the lesson content and engage students, making sure that they would feel comfortable throughout. And at the first workshop, over 150 students were reached, and the Society has since been contacted by other schools to conduct more of these workshops. And these workshops, well, they would educate students on issues such as sexual violence, microaggressions, misogynistic behaviour, consent, problems with media and the larger narrative, and how to support survivors of sexual violence. So, the runner-up for this award is It Happens Here. Where do I go from that?
Oh, wow, thank you so much for this award. We've had our first workshop, and it was just amazing speaking to all the sixth form students on such important issues that I feel like the education system just really lacks in, and I think the change needs to happen at this lower level. And we've got our next workshop next week, which is really exciting. So thank you so much for appreciating our work. Thank you.
Okay, so next up I'm going to announce the winner of the outstanding contribution to the award. So the winner of this award is a group of committed volunteers, emphasising the importance of oral health to people of all ages. So over 160 students volunteer with the project and put on almost weekly sessions in the local community, doing outreach work with local schools and community groups to ensure there is proper education for how to keep their mouths and teeth healthy and protected as the children grow. The panel, well, they were extremely impressed with how the group have worked tirelessly to switch back to in-person sessions, visiting over 350 children so far this year, whilst keeping up their online platforms and reaching an audience of thousands, providing oral health education on an international scale rather than just the local community. This has been the most successful year for the group, but they aren't stopping there, with plans on developing further work with the RVI and the Great North Children's Hospital. So let's all give a huge congratulations to our winner, which is Brush Up.
Don't even know what to say, but thank you very much. I know a lot of all the volunteers here, a lot of the work that we do, we don't do it for any recognition, but recognition is a beautiful thing, and I hope this puts a little bit of spotlight on Brush Up and just highlights how much work we've got up to this year and what we hope to do in the future. And it's just such a great project to have such a tangible effect on our community. So yeah, thank you for everyone, thank you for your support. Thank you for the award.
Right. The fifth award this evening is for Outstanding Contribution to Global Outlook. To present this award, please welcome the Dean of Innovation and Business, Professor Mike Capaldi.
Evening, everyone. Thank you, Harris. Thank you, Jane, for inviting me to give the award away. Like the previous speakers, I'm blown away. When I went to university, we were more concerned with doing as much sport as we could and getting down the pub and drinking lots. And maybe there was a degree at the end of it if you were lucky. So I'm just amazed that so many people can do so many good things and get a degree at the end of it as well. But there we go. This award is all about recognizing groups of individuals who've engaged in international activities that have increased their global outlook and ethical awareness. So 3 nominees for this award, and they are Nest, the Arab Society, and the Wind Band Society. So the runner-up in this category is a society. It's grown immensely over the last year. It's had a wonderful impact on the North East community through their educational events and talks and highlighting hot topics. At the start of the academic year, they held an educational talk on issues regarding refugees, and an information evening with Nest. 60 members attended. The evening went really well. They signed lots and lots of volunteers up to who are working alongside Nest now with asylum seekers in the Northeast. As well as other work, they've provided weekly football sessions to men in temporary asylum accommodation and have undoubtedly positively impacted this community. I sat on the judging panel, and this was a really, really hard category to judge. We were particularly impressed with how committed this new society is and how much impact they have made from the get-go. So the runner-up to this event is the Arab Society.
So no one wants to speak? Yeah, there's not really much to say. We've had some really educational events and a lot of fun. And I'd say our society is probably the latest society in the uni, but that's my opinion. But try it out. Come and join us, see what you think. Yeah, thank you.
So on to the winner this evening. Over the summer, student volunteers spent over a month working on creating individual care packs as well as family packs due to the Afghan crisis. resulting in an increased number of refugees, obviously, who needed support in the northeast. The volunteers responded quickly to this crisis, offering immediate support. They received an enormous amount of both physical and financial donations, meaning that they were able to create over 350 support packs that contained items such as size and sex-specific outfits, toiletries, essentials, and English learning textbooks. The group was able to support around 600 individuals, including adults and children, throughout the fundraising. This group of selfless volunteers also wanted to reach out to more families around the northeast and give them Christmas presents and gifts to the children in particular. They launched a fundraiser to do just that and raised a whopping £5,000, which meant that they were able to provide gifts and packs to over 300 children around Newcastle and Gateshead. The gifts were put together, wrapped and delivered by several volunteers over the last weeks of term in December. This winter appeal helped the project raise awareness about the issues concerning refugees and asylum seekers, whilst expanding the support they receive from the wider community. So I'm delighted to announce the winner of the Outstanding Contribution to Global Outlook is Nest.
Thank you very much for this award. Nest is one of the most amazing projects I've been a part of during my time at Newcastle University. It's fantastic to be able to be in a position to build relationships of trust with people who are vulnerable, and it's something I urge you all to get involved with. It's so flexible as a project. It can be, 1 hour a week, or people usually like it, they come every day. So I urge everybody to try it. It's amazing, and thank you for this award.
So the sixth category, so we're about halfway, folks, this evening, is the award for the outstanding contribution to student life. And to make this award, please welcome Eleanor McCarthy, Postgraduate Officer for Newcastle University Students' Union.
And thank you everyone who's helped make this fantastic evening. So this award recognises those who have selflessly dedicated their time, energy and commitment to enhancing the student experience. Nominations that we considered included those who had provided new opportunities for students, increased inclusivity on campus, or helped other students to develop new skills. From reading their nominations, the judging panel could see that everyone considered for this award had made a valuable change to the lives of others on campus. The nominees for this award are Nightline, Rachel Swift, Zumba Society, Kiara Blows, and New Med Islamic Society. So, our runners-up tonight are a group of people who have worked tirelessly this year to ensure the smooth running of this service and to improve the experience for volunteers and service users alike. The service is an anonymous and confidential listening and information service run by students for students, which is accessible every night of term time, where students can talk about whatever is on their mind without judgment or consequence. This academic year, they introduced initiatives that have had lasting impact on service delivery, volunteer welfare, quality of support provided, and longevity of the organisation, which have ultimately transferred to benefits in the mental well-being and employability of many students, some of which include running a family system network of support where volunteers are assigned a parent responsible for checking in, answering questions, and encouraging involvement in activities, incorporating a section on issues affecting students within the BAME community into initial training for new volunteers, creating an anonymous volunteer feedback form to allow volunteers to flag any issues that would be uncomfortable speaking directly to a volunteer about, posting on social media, encouraging applications from students from disadvantaged backgrounds, and introducing a question within the application form, allowing for reasonable adjustments to the process. This year, every volunteer at this project has banded together to ensure the service continues to run smoothly. They've clocked over 2,520 hours on shift, and outside shift, volunteers clocked over 1,460 hours, organising and participating in activities essential for running the service. So it's my pleasure to announce that the runner-up is Nightline.
I had a whole speech prepared, but I realised that was really long and silly. So I'll just say thank you to everyone that's involved in Nightline. You all know who you are, and you do a really wonderful job. It's personally been a really wonderful experience volunteering with Nightline for the last 4 years, and it's really shaped me as a person. And all the students that I've worked with have been the most hardworking bunch of people that I've ever met. So yeah, it's really wonderful. Thank you to them, and thank you to everyone.
So on to our winners this evening. They have been one of the most active societies throughout this year. Their events are creative and entertaining. They have come up with fresh ideas for events and spaced them all throughout the year. They have done a great job involving a variety of students and creating an environment where students can be involved and feel comfortable. They have made many steps to allow the students to feel comfortable, and they have made efforts to provide free meals during exam times to help relieve stress of the shoulders on students. These steps are very admirable and not only help their members, but also students. The preparation for Ramadan was extraordinary by getting food for everyone for the whole month of Ramadan free of charge and arranging competitions and events. They managed to do all of this with a tight budget, and they even contributed from their own pockets. They had a big impact on students, especially new students, by helping them adapt to the environment and making new friends from all years, which created a strong-knit society. So the winner of Outstanding Contribution to Student Life is NewMed Islamic Society. So our winners are unfortunately unable to be here with us this evening, but they've sent a few words on a video for us to see.
Hey guys, I'm Sohail Mastan. I'm the president of the NewMed Islamic Society. We're really honored that we were shortlisted for the NewMed Pride Awards this year. So I've been asked to give a quick rundown of all the events, so I'll get right to it. So we had quite a busy year this year. So we adapted a three-pronged approach for all our events. So firstly, our community and social-based events to bring the people together. So for that, we had FIFA night, we had a trip to another state, we had ice skating and games and other stuff, FIFA competition, FIFA nights, and dinner events. So for charity events, we had a fundraiser for an orphanage and immigrant laborers and immigrants. Also, we had fundraised by the community. We had dinner nights and iftar events throughout Ramadan. Also, for educational and spiritual wise, we had Quran Circles, Quran competition, and Quran studies, and other lecture events. So I would like to thank everyone who has helped, my committee members, volunteers, and the whole community, really just to support us, for supporting us through the whole year. Within a year, you guys really helped us turn this whole thing around, and it wouldn't have been possible without you. And I like to hope that in the coming years we will make even more of an effort and an impact in the committee. Thank you.
The seventh award this evening is Award for Outstanding Contribution to the Student Voice. To present this award, please welcome our Education Officer at the Students' Union, Livia Scott.
I'm really grateful Eleanor went before me because she's just as short, so I don't have to adjust the microphone or anything like at the teas. So student representation is an important element of any university, and none more so than at Newcastle. Without student reps and student representation, people like me, Eleanor, and the rest of the SABs wouldn't be able to make change and make that long-term impact that we all want to do. This award recognises those that have been a voice for students across the university and within their own communities, whether that's representing on academic issues, well-being, or even further out into the community. The nominees for Outstanding Contribution to the Student Voice are It Happens Here, Mackenzie Marshall, Madeline Bow, the Speech and Language Sciences undergrads, Mikhail Kukozas, and Suhaila Mamouche. I've had the privilege of working with all of the nominees this year, and honestly, all of them are very deserving of the award. I know everybody says that when they come up here, but all of them have been incredible and have been such a brilliant help to me and Eleanor and the rest of the team at the SU this year. But our runner-up has been a huge driving force within the Haas School reps. They've always gone above and beyond in their role and have been an absolute lifeline for myself and Eleanor. During their role, they've used innovation to enhance the student experience. They've provided minute-long video roundups for students so they know what's actually going on in all of those committees they sit on as a school rep. And they've made the delivery of updates more accessible and digestible. This has helped to try and bridge this ongoing gap that we have between student-led discussions and things that are going on within the university, and have really helped to make these a little bit more understandable for the wider student body. They have improved the access to wellbeing services within the school via raising students' awareness of the internal school services and setting up drop-in sessions with themselves and other people within the school. They've also thoroughly reviewed PEC application procedures and assignment transparency issues and raised those matters at school education committee meetings. And as somebody who attends a lot of those meetings with them, I can't say how grateful I am. The PEC stuff has been a massive project for a lot of us this year, and without them, I think they've really hammed home that case for a lot of the things we've been saying, have really made that project work. So I'm super grateful for them. Their continuous work to make the newly opened Henry Daish building more accessible and interesting for students was so successful. Shout out to the Henry Daish Cafe that's now open. The judges believe this student is an absolute benchmark to aspire to in terms of student representation, and it is a pleasure that I announce the runner-up for the Outstanding Contribution to Student Voice is Mac Marshall.
I'm not known for giving very good speeches, and I spilled some gravy on my top, so if we just don't look at that. I'd just like to dedicate this award to Olivia, Eleanor, everyone at the Student Union, every school rep, every course rep, every person that tries to make their educational experience better. Thank you very much.
Now on to the winner of the award for Outstanding Contribution to Student Voice. This student has managed to make impactful change throughout their university career. Their key work has been focusing on changing the narrative around spiking and sexual violence to address the cause of these issues. This has predominantly been shown through successfully getting the SU to introduce drink spiking test kits to be freely available to all students, which has been a huge success. They've helped set up, lead, and establish a very successful Into-Schools team who've taught about spiking, sexual, and gender-based violence to sixth formers at RGS, and as you heard earlier, there's been more school trips organised. They have helped their society achieve the Gold Inclusivity Award for It Happens Here in the first semester, had vigils that were broadcast on the BBC, raised money for Rape Crisis and the Angelou Centre, increased the society's social media following by over 100% in the past 3 years. One nomination from their peers reads, I have seen the dedication, devotion and effort they have put into running a safe and inclusive society, which has been an absolute pleasure to have been a part of, but they've also set up a truly inspirational campaign which have drawn attention to the impacts of sexual violence, as well as focusing on how survivors can be better supported whilst at university. If I haven't already made it obvious, I'm thrilled to announce that the winner of Outstanding Contribution to Student Voice is Maddie Bow.
Thank you so much. I think I'm honoured to be here, and the fact that we were nominated for 3 awards tonight is incredible. It's just a testimony to how hard my committee and members have worked this year on our campaigns, on our volunteering, all sorts. It's been incredible. I think we've just about finished our report from our campaign, and one of the statistics is that over 60% of people at Newcastle, alumni, staff, students, have been or know somebody who has been sexually assaulted during their time at Newcastle University, and that figure is shocking. And the work that we do as a society and as a community is incredible to address that. And the fact that we have such an incredible community and people feel so valued is, yeah, I feel so proud of my society, and I couldn't do it without any of them. So thank you so much to all my committee and all the members who've made this possible. Thank you.
So the 8th award for this evening is the Outstanding Contribution to Sustainability and the Environment. And to present this award, I'm delighted to welcome Simon Jerry, the Chief Executive of our Students' Union, up to the stage.
Good evening, everyone, to what is definitely my favourite time of year, when we get to celebrate the success of not only the Pride Awards, but the other 7 set of awards we've had in the last 3 weeks. And as the Vice-Chancellor and Harris mentioned, around about 1,000 nominations this year, I think is the most I can remember in the last 15 years of doing these awards. So credit to all the people that nominated themselves, and all the students that really wanted to get out after lockdown and do some great things. I'm delighted to have been asked to present this award this evening, which is for students who have made a positive difference to sustainability and or the environment. This could be through volunteering, campaigning, running competitions, or creating new inventions. But the key is that the students have demonstrated their passion for issues currently facing us on a local, national, or global scale. In each case, the winners will have engaged in activities that have involved inspiring others to become more environmentally aware, or will have encouraged behaviour change. Now, clearly this year, COP26 really focused the mind and raised awareness of the climate crisis that we are now in. And over the past 2 to 3 months, I'm glad to say we've been working with the student officers on the Students' Union's new sustainability plan, which will complement the work the university are already doing in this space, as the Vice-Chancellor mentioned earlier, and provide a framework for students to work within from next year when lobbying, campaigning on environmental and sustainability issues, and when raising awareness and good practice amongst the student community and beyond. It also includes our own NUSU commitment to reach carbon net zero by 2030, following the university's announcement last year. Now, due to the small number of nominations, which itself demonstrates the real necessity to recognise and recognise the contribution to the sustainability and environmental agenda, there is no runner-up chosen this year in this category. So I'm going to go straight on to announcing the winner. Throughout the year, this society has run several events relating to climate justice and subsequent climate action. These events have primarily been run in collaboration with climate justice organisation Green New Deal Rising, and have focused on how students can get involved with wider climate movements beyond the university. Climate justice ran as a key theme during their annual conference, where speakers and events included discussions on fast fashion and its environmental and social impact, decolonisation and finding your role in movements, Green New Deal themed crafts and clothes swaps, and much more. And during all of the events, the refreshments were either vegetarian or vegan, and all guests were encouraged to bring reusable travel mugs rather than disposals. In essence, they have campaigned tirelessly throughout the whole year and encourage others to do the same. So I'm delighted to announce that the winner of the Outstanding Contribution to Sustainability and the Environment is, and we have got some drama because nobody knows who the shortlist is, the Feminist Society.
Thank you, first of all, to these amazing people and the rest of our committee who aren't here, but yeah, they've all put so much work in this year. I also have to say that I do believe part of what was said about the university before does amount to greenwashing, mostly due to the fact that climate justice includes not only gender justice, racial justice, migrant justice, shout out to Nest, but also workers' justice, and we as a society don't believe that the university can say it's committed to climate justice without, working with the UCU and answering their demands. So apart from that, we know that we've seen so many Newcastle students say that they stand with the striking staff members. So solidarity to them, because teaching and research is green jobs for a just transition. So cool. Thank you.
Right. The ninth award this evening is Award for Outstanding Contribution to Sports. Like all of these categories, this was a very difficult category to judge, given the outstanding range of nominations. To present this award, please welcome super talented AU officer, Fergus Mainland.
Good evening, everyone. To quote one of the presenters from earlier on, this one goes out to all of those involved in sport on a Wednesday afternoon and then going out to the pub to get pissed afterwards. So this award recognises students who have either made the university proud with their outstanding sporting achievements or those who have gone above and beyond to make sport accessible to all on campus. And I think sport is one of the examples of university life that has really hit the ground running as we've returned from the pandemic. We had an in-person clubs and societies fair at the beginning of the year, which has attracted over 4,500 students to the Athletic Union this year, let alone all of those involved with intramural and campus leagues as well. We brought back varsity this year, formerly known as Stan Calvert. We won that, we pumped the poly, and we'll be looking to defend that next year. And we've had one of our greatest Bucks performances ever. We currently sit 8th overall in the nation, one of our greatest performances ever, and that is testament to all of the hard work of all of our student athletes, from first team rugby all the way to 5th team netball. Everyone has performed admirably this year. But tonight, our nominees are men's basketball first team, Newcastle University Boat Club, and Brandon Few, President of Men's Hockey. So for the runner-up for Outstanding Contribution to Sport, the judges were extremely impressed with the high levels of success this club has made in an extremely challenging season. Despite roughly half of all competitions and races being cancelled due to the pandemic, the team spent time training individually in homes with the facilities that had been provided to them by the university. They returned to the water in incredible form and went on to win some prestigious titles, including beating Durham 6-0 at the university boat race last year. The judges were particularly impressed with the considerable number of crews competing as part of this club this season and the excellent achievement, as I said, of beating Durham, which they went on to do again this year. Get my papers straight. They also sent a record number of crews to the prestigious Henley Royal Regatta last summer. The achievements of the club this year have cemented Newcastle's position as one of the leading student rowing programmes up and down the country, as well as across the world. So I'm delighted to announce the runner-up for this year's Outstanding Contribution to Sport is Newcastle University Boat Club.
Thank you, Ferg. Last time we were nominated for an award was at the AU Ball, where we got booed on and off stage, so a round of applause is much appreciated, so thank you for that. It's always an honour and a real privilege to represent the university, and especially just to be recognised alongside people like Brandon, men's basketball, and everyone else here tonight is the icing on the cake. All of this wouldn't be possible without a load of people, namely our coaching team who aren't here tonight, Ferg and the Athletic Union and everything they support us with, Fraser Kennedy at the Sports Centre, and that's just a few of them. I could go on all night, but I won't bore you with that. So thank you again very much. Cheers.
So on to the winner, and our winner this evening has made history for Newcastle University this year. The team competed in the top division of basketball in Bucks this year, and they finished top of the table with an impressive 9-1 record, winning the league outright. The National League squad have also had an equally impressive season with 2 final appearances as well. However, the judges were particularly impressed by their championship run that they had this season, making it all the way through to the Big Bucks Wednesdays finals in Nottingham, where, similar to the Boat Club, they beat Durham to win our university's first ever national championship in over 20 years, making them the best university basketball team in the country. So I'm delighted to say, and huge congratulations to the winners of the Outstanding Contribution to Sport, the men's basketball first team.
We just want to say thank you to our coaches, Mark Eldekin and Charles Smith, and also recognition from you guys for, obviously, we're just good at putting balls in a hoop, so thank you very much.
Our next award is being made to students for the outstanding contribution to the workplace. And to make this award, I'm delighted to welcome Kay Jones to the stage.
Good evening, everyone. As Head of Work-Based Learning and Employer Partnerships, I hear it firsthand from recruiters the value which students gain from working alongside their studies or by doing a placement or internship. As well as enhancing their CV, it's an opportunity for students to make a really positive contribution to their host employer and, of course, for employers to talent spot for future roles. So this award recognises students who've undertaken a placement year, worked as a temporary intern, or who've been employed part-time on the university campus. So our nominees tonight are Alice Casey, Alicia Ali, Stefania Bilker, and Aisling Wong, Cara Miller, Max Smith, and Rebecca Lee Railton. The runner-up for this award is someone who experienced incredible challenges throughout her placement year and overcame them with resilience and an infectiously positive attitude. During her time working in frontline mental health services, she was given the awful news that the service was being closed. The residents had a history of trauma and find emotional regulation very challenging, so no one could have anticipated the emotional impact the news would have on them, but also on the team. The nominee was also put in the difficult position of not knowing how she would complete her placement, but she didn't complain, she didn't dwell on it. She worked on the assumption that it would work out and that a solution would be found. This demonstrates how she conducts herself in life. Her positive outlook shone through to our judges, and we would like to say a big congratulations to Cara Miller.
I would just like to say thank you so much. I think everyone that supported me through this, it's been amazing. I mean, the careers service who helped me prepare for my interview, the entire staff team, the university. But I think the biggest thing for me is the residents themselves. They've let me play a small part in their recovery journey, and for that, I'm forever grateful, and they'll always have a small part in my heart. So thank you very much.
Well done, Cara. So the winner of the Contribution to the Workplace Awards 2022 made an exceptional impact during the height of lockdown, and that's continued thereafter. Tonight's winner started her role by delivering engaging online language taster sessions in Japanese to secondary schools in the region. She was quickly appointed as the Senior Student Language Ambassador, and she put together a team of ambassadors across all stages and faculties in the university. The team is now able to support 16 languages, which is more than ever before. The judges were incredibly impressed that this year, Alice's team has engaged in over 50 events with schools in the Northeast and has delivered cultural and language events to over 700 children. This will exceed 1,000 pupils by the end of this academic year, and that in itself is an outstanding achievement. So a massive congratulations to our winner this evening, Alice Casey.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Firstly, I'd just like to say thank you to Andrew, who actually nominated me. He's the life and soul of the Language Resource Centre. None of this would be possible without him. And also Alina, who's not with us tonight, and all the staff of the Language Resource Centre. They're so encouraging and supportive and so kind, and they really make this possible. Thank you to everyone who helped put on this evening, and also I dragged my parents along with me tonight. Thank you. Love you both.
Don't worry.
Just before we allow Kay to depart, one more token of recognition that we'd like to give. As some of you may know, today is Kay's last day working in career service, and we would like to take this opportunity, Kay, to thank you for all your incredible work over a number of years and to wish you luck in your future role. So many thanks again, Kay, and good luck for the future. There we go.
Lindsay, thank you. I'll just say You're trying to shut me up, and my team know that never happens. If everyone else gets a chance to say a few words, I will too, if that's okay. Thank you so much to all of my colleagues in the Careers Service. It really has been a fabulous 7 years working with you, and I will miss you all and wish you all the very best. And thank you for my lovely flowers.
The final two awards which we are making this evening are in recognition of two of our outstanding alumni. These awards recognize some of our very successful graduates. It is no exaggeration to say that both of the people we are recognizing today are incredibly inspiring, and both have made me wonder what I have been doing all of these years. Please welcome Paul Tayak, the Director of Advancement, to present these awards.
Thank you very much. I was going to say exactly the same thing. The people in this room, especially the alumni, you do make me wonder what I've been doing as well. I have the fantastic job of championing Newcastle's alumni community. This one's for you, Sports President. It's another area where we beat Durham. We have nearly twice as many living alumni as the university down the road. It's a community of 250,000 Newcastle alumni living in over 150 countries. And for students here, Newcastle doesn't stop when you leave the university. You go on to become part of that community. So these awards are for the members of the Newcastle alumni community around the world who have done the most amazing things since they've graduated. We take enormous pride in the achievements that they have in their communities, in their workplaces, and the positive change that they bring to the world. So we have 2 awards to honour that outstanding contribution: Rising Star Award for those who have graduated within the past 10 years, and the Alumni Impact Award for those which recognises alumni who have made an absolutely outstanding contribution in their area of business, in their life, in their communities. They give us a chance to really think about that inspiration that can be given to all of us. And this year was no exception on the sheer number of difficult choices we had to make. For those on the judging panel, this is a community of 250,000 people we had to choose between. So those who've been recognised should be extremely proud of that. We managed to shortlist 9 of alumni across these 2 awards, and our judges have had an enormously difficult task of selecting winners this year. So it's my pleasure to talk you through the shortlist for the Rising Star Award, and we have shortlisted 6 alumni. They are Abdulaziz Al-Sayed, PhD in Computer Science 2015. Abdulaziz, to you. And I think there may be a prize this evening for Abdulaziz's guest this evening, his father, who's flown in internationally to come and be here. I'm sure the person who's travelled furthest. So it's a great honour that you're here with us. Abdulaziz's work: he was the co-founder of a social learning platform, Noon, launched in 2016. It has supported an astonishing 18 million students with 1,500 tutors working across 5 markets. Bridget Stratford, MBE. Sorry, Bridget, I couldn't resist that. Recently recognised in the Queen's Honours List for her work with the North East Solidarity and Teaching charity Nest. It helps refugees in Newcastle, as you've heard several times this evening. An astonishing organisation. Diana Velarde, an MBA in 2012, whose work in her home country of Mexico supported women with disabilities both in her professional work as Director of Staff Council Diversity at PwC, as well as in voluntary roles for people living with disabilities. Khadija Badri, BA English Language 2016, a graduate who recently raised over £1,000 for sanctuary scholarships at Newcastle University as part of the Alumni Day of Action. She also works with refugee and migrant communities to raise awarenesses of statelessness in Europe. Kirill Holstovas, Civil and Structural Engineering 2019, a recent graduate who was part of the UN Youth for Climate pre-COP26 summit in Milan, representing his home country of Latvia, co-initiating the COP26 joint statement of international youth organisations. And finally, truly global, Tracy Wu, BSc in Marketing for 2014, who is the linchpin of Newcastle's alumni community in China. She links together thousands of Chinese alumni with themselves and with Newcastle University. Since her graduation, she has been the organizer of some of the biggest alumni events in China. In fact, probably some of the biggest alumni events Newcastle University has anywhere in the world. So, we had a dilemma. For the Rising Star Award, the judges found it so difficult to choose between nominees that in the end, they decided to recognise them both, and I'm very sorry if that's completely against the rules. So without further ado, I would like to invite our first speaker, Katie Blundell, to introduce the first winner. Katie.
Thank you, Paul, and good evening, everyone, and what a wonderful evening it has been so far. A big thank you to the incredible team who have organised this evening, everyone from the Career Service, and of course, a special thank you to Harris and lovely Becky from my team, Go Volunteer, who've put on a super event. It's been wonderful. So anyway, I've got no doubt that many of the amazing students that we have seen this evening, we will be welcoming back in future years to be recipients of this award. But anyway, I am delighted to be presenting this award to an incredible person whose commitment, dedication, and sheer passion for helping others continues to amaze and humble me. Many of you here tonight will be aware of the fantastic work of North East Solidarity in Teaching, or NEST as we call it. In summer 2016, this person and a small group of students answered a call for volunteers to support a displaced Syrian family at Springwell Community Centre in Gateshead to help develop their English language skills and help the children with their homework. Under this person's leadership and vision, the project quickly developed and the rest is history. Now I'm going to break with the protocol for the winner, and I wanted to personally talk about Bridget. And Bridget is a real force for good. And what really strikes me about Bridget is that she doesn't just talk about how much she wants to help people. She takes real action, and she has true integrity, which is a quality I think that we are seeing less and less nowadays. So it is wonderful that we have such an amazing alumnus who really embodies this. And the action that Bridget has taken, and in this year alone, has involved NEST delivering over 750 English language lessons, both online, and in person, to over 500 asylum seekers and refugees by 457 volunteers. A responsive campaign to support asylum seekers fleeing Afghanistan, raising over £4,000. A winter donation appeal in December this year, raising over £6,000, making hundreds of gift packages for children. Bridget has also successfully sourced thousands of pounds in external funding for NEST, to the tune of £160,000 in the last year alone, enabling us to support some of the most vulnerable people in society. And like Bridget, offer students and alumni meaningful and impactful employment opportunities to turn their passions into careers. I think we've got nearly all of the team here tonight. We've got Bridget, we've got Hibba, I think we've got Angie and Rahima. I know we haven't got Nisha. I can see Angie there next to Hibba, but yeah. And we also as well have students in part-time roles as well. In recognition of Bridget's extraordinary efforts, she was awarded an MBE in the Queen's New Year's Honours List. So I am delighted to present the Alumni Rising Award to Bridget Stratford, MBE.
Thank you so much for this award.
I really appreciate all of the support that we've had in the past 6 years as a team from Go Volunteer, from everybody in the university. At the minute, we're getting about 50 referrals every week. Most of these referrals, we walk into the house and people don't have clothes, the children don't have beds. When we deliver food packages, they're ripped out of our hands because people haven't eaten. The need on the ground is so urgent, and the environment that we're working in is so much more hostile now than it was 6 years ago when we started. But Nest has shown me, and I think us as a family of volunteers, that real change is possible. And with this amount of skill and talent in this room, I think there's so much opportunity and possibility for the university community to impact the local community in a really positive way. So I'm really looking forward to continuing to be part of that. Thank you so much.
That's a little brighter than I expected. Good evening, everybody. My name is Jeremy Pigeon. I'm here to do the second part of the Rising Star Awards. They recognise all alumni who graduated within the past 10 years and who are making a significant impact in their industry. A little bit like Katie, I'm going to break with tradition and name our winner at the start, because I think it's worthwhile talking about all the stuff that he's done. Abdulaziz Al Saeed is in fact a graduate of Newcastle University twice, first in 2010 and then again with a PhD in 2015. So clearly liked it enough to come back at least twice. While in that gap, in 2013, he co-founded the education platform Noon, which is a social learning platform. It first launched with just 2 tutors and less than 30 students. And as Paul has over 1,500 certified tutors and works very prominently across the Middle East and North Africa. Since the platform launched 9 years ago, it has become a fully fledged social learning platform. It allows students to study with friends in groups, it allows them to compete with each other, it allows them to learn from top tutors, and it prevents students from having to travel sometimes 20 kilometers a day each way just to get education and basic education to get towards university, where we all have been. This platform is currently available in 5 markets, but his next major goal is to make it global, and the goal for 3 years from now is to have reached 100 million students globally. So a fairly significant goal to reach from then. In recognition of his work with Noon, Abdulaziz was featured in the Forbes Middle East magazine among the top entrepreneurs shaping the Saudi Arabian future in 2015, and was awarded the London Business School George Bernard Shaw Award in 2018. And last year, and finally, he was most recently received the 2021 UK Alumni Entrepreneurial Award. So it's not just us that are recognising all the hard work he's doing, there are other people who are mentioning him as well. Without doubt, he is a perfect example of the kind of amazing impact and positive change that Newcastle alumni can have, and we are very happy to be able to recognise him as one of this year's Rising Stars.
Thank you very much. I feel fantastic to be here, to be recognized today, and I would just summarize my journey of 5 years of learning here at Newcastle University. Now I'm using that experience and learning to teach all those students around the world, and I'm so grateful for all the time, all the experiences, all the friends that I made in Newcastle, and it's good to be back. I want to say also, would like to say thank you for my father, who flew all the way from Saudi to be with us here today. So thank you very much, everyone, and thanks for the recognition. Thank you.
You've not quite done with me yet. I apologise. As has been mentioned, we actually have 2 Alumni Award categories, and our second is the Alumni Impact Award. And this award recognises alumni who have made an outstanding contribution to society, to their business or their industry, and who have a potential to inspire the next generation of students. This year we managed to nominate 3 alumni to the shortlist. There is Dr. Claire Healy, MBBS 1991, who's worked in improving services for women who've been victims of domestic and sexual violence in New Zealand over the past 25 years, has recently been recognised with a New Zealand Order of Merit. Our next shortlist is John Cooper QC, LLB Law 1980, who for the past year has been representing the majority of the bereaved families in the Manchester Arena inquiry after the Manchester Arena bombing, and has a distinguished career working with bereaved families in many high-profile cases, including things such as the Deep Cut Barracks inquiry and the Dr. John Kelly, the weapons inspector for the government, the death of him as well. So he's been very high profile for for a very long time. And finally this evening, Dr. Lewis Potter, MBBS 2012, who was supported by our fantastic startup team while he was here. He started Geeky Medics while as a student in 2010, which has now been running for over a decade. It is recognised as one of the most well-known sources of free, high-quality medical education. It is used across the country for teaching medical education both to undergrads and doctors, and was recently recognised by the British Medical Journal for its dedication and improvement to education. I am not going to announce the winner. You've heard enough from me, so I'm going to invite the speaker for our winner to come forward, who is Jonathan Galloway.
Good evening. Good evening, everybody. Delighted to be here this evening for the very first time, and what a wonderful occasion it is. I'm here this evening as head of Newcastle Law School, and I'm delighted to be able to announce that one of our leading alumni and leading senior barrister, John Cooper QC, as the winner of the Alumni Achievement Award for Alumni Impact. John graduated from law school in 1980, was called to the bar in 1983, to the New South Wales bar in Australia in 1989, took silk and became Queen's Counsel in 2010, and has continued to build a formidable reputation as a leading crime and human rights barrister. Based at the prestigious 25 Bed in London, John's leading cases and experience, as Jeremy alluded to, are seldom out of the public eye, and more often than not dealing with issues of significant public interest and of grave importance. Currently representing the majority of bereaved families in the Manchester Arena inquiry into the bomb explosion, previous involvement in legal actions tied to the Deep Cut Barracks inquests, representing opposition MPs in the prorogation of Parliament cases before the UK Supreme Court, hearings tied to the Occupy movement outside St Paul's Cathedral, inquests tied to Dr. David Kelly, the government weapons inspector. The examples do go on and on. Given his vast and rich experience, our law school is very fortunate to have John as a very active and keen alumnus, participating in our advisory board for many years, being appointed as a visiting professor of practice earlier this year, and being a vociferous advocate, as one would expect, on behalf of students pursuing careers at the bar, and also for widening the diversity and social mobility at the bar. John attended Regis Comprehensive School in Wolverhampton, and his background, including his years at Newcastle, have undoubtedly led to an incredibly strong work ethic, drive and determination, which he uses to passionately inspire others to be determined in honing their skills, to focus on preparation, and to unabashedly pursue their dreams. When John works with our students, which he absolutely loves doing, he does so with 100% commitment, with huge credibility, and with the life story of someone utterly committed to public service. I would be remiss in not adding that his interest and passion spread far beyond the law courts into the world of theatre and film production, demonstrating for anyone unsure before that the skills necessary for effective advocacy on behalf of clients and justice transcend far into other domains and walks of life. John Cooper QC is an inspirational public servant, and I am very proud to introduce him as one of our leading alumni
and a very worthy winner of this year's Alumni Impact Award. Many congratulations, John.
Living alumni. It's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me, in or out of the courtroom. I'm so honoured to be given this award. It's funny, isn't it, that, and now I'm really going to age myself, almost 42 years to the day, I graduated in this very hall. And actually, for this to happen now is for me, moving. My mum and dad are no longer with me. But it does bring back memories of that very happy event back in 1980. I was thinking very briefly, and I'm going to speak even more briefly, don't worry, about what Ben said in the keynote speech right at the start of this wonderful evening, about encouraging the passion and the drive of students, young people, to do what they want to do. Not what other people tell you to do or what you should do, but what you want to do. Don't be told you cannot do it. Don't be told, oh, it's more advisable for you to do something else. You only have one go at this. You only have one life. Look back at least and be able to tell yourselves that you tried. That's my only message. Don't get put off by anyone. People do that. People did that to me. It made me more determined to do what I did. Do one thing, and you're going to hate me for this. Ignore everyone else. Do what's there. Thank you.
We now are moving on to a very special point in the night. This year, the judges have decided to present a Vice Chancellor's Award for Excellence. This award is being presented to an individual or a group whose work over a sustained period of time stands out as being truly exceptional and goes above and beyond in several ways.
To present our Vice Chancellor's Award for Excellence, please welcome to the stage Professor Chris Day.
Thank you, Jane and Harris. Before I present this award, of course, I have to join in with everything else that's been said to congratulate all the winners this evening. As I trailed at the start, you've seen fantastic examples of all of our values. You've seen examples of diversity, of social inclusion, of environmental justice. You've seen sporting excellence, numerous examples of creativity, and how many examples of impact, particularly impact outside the university. A special mention to those alumni achievements that you've heard. And at the end of every graduation speech that I give, I'm not sure about my colleagues, because you never see your colleagues give graduation speeches. You only know about your own. I always end with the sentence, something like, go out into the world, graduates, you are our greatest achievement. And if you ever need any further examples of why that is true, what you've seen now from the graduates who will be graduates in the near future, and those more long-term graduates that you've just heard, I think that has never felt more true to me. My summary of all I've heard this afternoon is I've never been more proud to be Vice-Chancellor of this wonderful university. So thank you, all of you, for making me feel that at this moment. The judges described the recipient of this evening's final Vice-Chancellor's Award as a model student and as someone with a great heart who really wants to make a difference. I think it's fair to say that they've done all that and more as the leader of a volunteer project that has improved the lives of hundreds of school children in communities right across our city and region by providing free oral health education sessions. These sessions cover a range of topics from how to brush your teeth correctly to dietary advice, learning about dental problems, and getting children used to the idea of visiting a dentist. Perhaps I need to see them for a while. Like so many things, COVID-19 forced a rapid rethink of the project. Until the pandemic hit, the project had been depending on teams of volunteers being able to go out into the community to visit schools and other organisations. Undeterred, our award recipients harnessed their volunteers to take to social media to continue their work with schools online through Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. They also created a YouTube channel, and as a result, they now have thousands of views and followers over all platforms, which means they are now having an impact on a truly international scale. As well as delivering online sessions through lockdown, the students spent time planning for the time when things reopened, so that they could immediately restart their work to reach as many children as possible in person. To make this possible, they have helped to recruit and train more than 160 volunteers this year, a record for the project. They also plan to expand their work through a project with the Great North Children's Hospital, which they hope will have a national impact. Their fellow volunteers have praised this individual for their organisational skills, for their clarity and determination, and for their commitment not only in helping the community, but also to the safety and well-being of their team. For his exceptional contribution to raising awareness and teaching children about the importance of dental hygiene through his leadership of the outstanding success that is Brush Up Oral Health Programme, it is my very great pleasure to announce that the recipient of the Vice-Chancellor's Award for Excellence this year is Sunny Sadira.
Right, now I definitely don't know what to say, but I'm going to start off by saying thank you. Thank you to everyone who's supported not only me, but Brush Up over the last couple of years, especially. It's been an honour being part of the committee over the last couple of years, and then recently becoming president, and just helping Brush Up grow to new heights and have such a positive impact on our community. It's truly been an honour, and this is my final year at dental school, hopefully. And hopefully I will be staying in Newcastle, but it's just such a great dental school to be part of and such a great project to be part of, and I'm really, really proud of being a Newcastle student and for getting this award. So thank you very much to everyone who supported me.
And so that concludes the evening. Jane and I just have a few thank yous to give, as so many people were involved in making tonight a success. Firstly, congratulations to everybody nominated this evening, and extra congratulations to all of our winners. Can they please all have another round of applause?
And a huge thanks to everybody who took the time to write a nomination and all of our students who were shortlisted this evening. Thanks also go to our Vice-Chancellor and President of Newcastle University, Professor Chris Day, for opening the evening's events. And also, of course, to our keynote speaker, Ben Mercer.
I would like to thank our judges, everybody at the Civic Centre for looking after us so well, and of course, our fabulous AV company, the R&B Group.
And finally, I just want to thank my colleagues in the Careers Service and, of course, the Students' Union who have worked so incredibly hard to make this fantastic evening possible. A big thanks goes out also to NUTV for live streaming the event to everyone at home. And finally, can I thank all of you? You've been an absolutely fantastic audience, so thank you.
So before I say my final lines, I would also like to thank Jane for presenting with me this evening.
Thank you, Harris.
Also the flowers for you.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. It's all about teamwork. Thank you.
I hope you've all had a wonderful evening and enjoyed the rest of your night. Hopefully you will all continue your great work and inspire others to do the same. We're all excited to see what our students achieve over the coming year. And finally, good luck to everybody who is graduating this summer, and we hope to see you nominated in the future for one of our Alumni Awards. Travel home safely, and good night.